Well, good evening, Chameleon Academy. What the heck is going on? Well, let's see. We bring our people up here. Where's my cursor? All right. So, wait, Marsha's got an anchor maker? I'm just checking it. Oh, hey, you guys can't even see me. Come on, there we go. Hello, everybody. What's going on in the world? Let's see. Marsha's got an anchor make. Okay, anchor make. They are. Hello, Gecko Galaxy. Jitsu James. Oh, everybody. Well, turns out we don't have. I've done so good with making fruit fly cultures that we don't need to make fruit flies this particular day. So I'm going to be making cricket and dubia feeder plates. So, hey, Jitsu James is all over the place. So, how's the week going for everybody? We're getting ready for another week, and I'm not fully recovered from the last week. James, thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very nice super sticker to provide to me. Thank you for that. That's a good way to. I don't know if Sunday is starting the week or ending the week, but boy, it's been quite a week. And of course, yesterday we had the unboxing video where I just brought on everybody, and we had Mikey Ben open up the box that he just got, which was, there's this Illuminati thread going through this community. You never know when that thing's going to pop up. But we're all kind of having a lot of fun. Hey, Tom's here. All right, let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and actually start cutting things. And for those who are here, new to here, I'm actually supposed to be doing chores. This isn't supposed to be Bill sits down and relaxes, kicks back, and hangs out with everybody. I'm actually supposed to be getting something done here. And sometimes I think there's people here that are seeing if they can distract me enough that I don't get anything done. I think it's kind of a strange little game that people are trying to pull on me. So, okay. There you go, James. James are looking for the IPO. So you're just gonna have to get corporate. Yeah. We love our Mikey Ben. So who is that? Yeah, Two Turtle Tom. You got two accounts that you're coming at? That sounds suspicious. What are you up to? Why are you doing that? What nefarious plans do you have for joining with two profiles? Unless you're going to start arguing with yourself. Let's see. My Cam Luca is shedding. He's getting more orange red around the face as he just turned 1 last month. Yay! Congratulations, Luca. Turtle life versus professional life. Oh, that's why Two Turtle Tom has two accounts. So, all right. So, of all the people who come to for all who don't know, I do a daily video on YouTube, and so if you love chameleons and you're just hardcore in chameleons, you get something every day of the week here on the Chameleon Academy, whether it be a live session like today, or during the week. There is there's videos. I have different themes for different days. Just so everybody knows, the next week there's going to be a change up. We're going to be doing Community Day on Monday, and then the Chameleon fundamentals on Tuesday because the fundamentals is taking a little bit longer to film than I expected. But then again, doesn't everything? Let's see. Hello, Eliza Ann. Bill, did you try the dark roast? Mike, Ben, I have not. I have not tried the dark roast. Mikey is talking about the. Excuse me. Is talking about the Tarantula Collective gift box that I opened yesterday, and it had a light roast and a dark roast coffee. And I just tried the light roast, and oh my goodness, it was good. Wow. I'm not that much of a coffee connoisseur. I wouldn't know. I don't know coffees that well. Yvette is a lot better at that than I am. See, that's why we're a good team. She knows stuff. And so when I notice something different, it's significant. Let's see. Tutorial Tom is saying, tomorrow I might make the morning vlog. Headed to work super early because of the eclipse. All right. Well, we'll see you then. I'm going to be doing a cage review of somebody who is hatching, incubating right now, a panther chameleon egg. And they've got a full 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage set up. And so it became a very interesting cage review because there's different things you got to do for hatchlings. Not a whole lot of different things, but there are some little twists. And so I really enjoyed that cage review because it gave me the opportunity to talk about some of those things that we may not think about. This whole thing about keeping hatchlings is relatively new. Usually it's the only people that would deal with hatchlings would be breeders or people who got surprised by Jackson's chameleons. But what I really like is there are more and more people who are liking this idea of treating individual hatchlings as special and not just as, oh, okay, I got to take care of all these babies, but as, hey, I'm going to really treat this. I'm going to invest in this one baby and give it a luxury life. And I love that trend. And so I am going to do everything in my power to encourage that and tell people how to do it. I got to tell you, I've been a breeder. I have bred, I've had hundreds of babies, and of course I've had single babies. The most incredible experience is when you're raising up a single baby, but you're not doing it as okay, I'm just going to throw stuff together and make it to the 3 to 4 month part where I just put them into an adult cage. Now, if you treat those months at the beginning as special, yes, it takes a whole lot more money, but come on. Chameleons is a luxury thing. We're lucky to have chameleons. It's not something to save money on. It's something to have a great experience with. And so if you treat having a hatchling like it's a great experience, like those 3 to 4 months are going to be such the special time that you're not going to ever have again. You're never going to get that back. You don't ever get the puppy months back or the baby years of humans. Now, okay, I won't bring in the humans thing because a lot of people are happy that you don't get the baby years back. But like chameleons, we do get that puppy stage where they're incredibly cute. They're very fragile, so you need to do it right. But I really love this idea of treating it like a very special time, even though it's so short. And you're thinking, oh, I'm investing all this money, and where's it going to go? It's going towards the experience. That's where it's going. So let's see. And asking, what are you making? I am making just feeder trays for crickets and dubias. And people ask, what's your secret recipe? I just do a bunch of stuff. and it works just as well as when they are specially formulated. So we're still figuring out nutrition. There's a lot of people who think they know or act like they know, and yet I've yet to find a whole lot of people that actually do know, because it's just so hard to find that information. Yeah. So let's see. Satan will take crickets and roaches from my hand now. Excellent, but still hisses and reminds me why his name's Satan. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, Tutorial Tom says, Bill, I aim to take over Sean's mantle as the Honelli guy. Love them. Can't wait for my new male to mature and pair up my two up. Tutorial Tom, I have a line on some captive born males. If you're interested, let me know if there's room for another male of a different bloodline in your attempt to take over the Honelli world. Let's see. Bill, can you touch on the Jackson's Chameleon babies? Bob, what would you like to talk about as far as Jackson's Chameleon babies? I love Jackson's Chameleon babies. I'd talk forever. Hey, Bill, buenos tardes. Hello, Lalo Lucho. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful Sunday. I am doing well. I'm hanging out with all my chameleon friends. That's a good way to end the week. We got it. Okay, people, we need to take a vote. Who says Sunday is the beginning of the week, and who says Sunday is the end of the week? I don't know. We need to. That sounds like something that we've got to decide by a vote. And yes, I've decided I'm going to give them banana today. I don't know. What the heck? I know the banana roaches love banana. So, yeah, I do a lot of just throwing stuff together. My recent batch of grasshoppers from Dean are known to feed on oak leaves. Yep, they love it. They eat oak leaves. That's interesting. Tutorial Time says beginning. All right. And Del. Okay, now. Okay. Okay, Tutorial Tom says beginning and says end. All right. Mentally, it's Monday for me. Sunday is the start. Okay. I was referring to your video this week. Bob, yeah, that's already recorded, but tomorrow's video, everything that I say in there is applicable. This is for a Panther Chameleon, but everything is applicable to Jackson's Chameleon babies as well. So tomorrow's a good episode for you to check out. And I'll just let you know what's in plan is the fundamentals series that is going out on Tuesday is about putting together a chameleon cage. But the one next week is about putting together a cage for hatchlings. So I'm just going to specifically focus in on that one. Let's see. Real Land Goat. Hey, Bill, update on my Dragon Strand double wide. I finished the foam carving now. Time to seal. Is Drylock okay to use? Drylock's okay to use. Yeah. That is a lot of people use Drylock. So have that. James uses clear flex seal. Hey, France is here. Hello, France. It's 2:30 a.m. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Clem, still alive to watch your live. Thanks for all the work and information you provide to us. Clem, I'm so glad you're here. It's 2:30 a.m. Oh my goodness. And all right. Well, everybody say hello to Clem. Clem's in France, and it has this level of dedication that he's up at 2:30 a.m. to hang out with us all. So everybody say hello to Clem. Clem, you're our hero for the evening. Let's see. All right, here's all the hellos. And Clem is happy to be here. All right, everybody. Yeah. um. Okay. Hello. Okay. Lala Lucho from Inglewood. Hello. Okay. Okay. Real Land Goat says hello. All right. Oh, so Clem, yeah, you have you have a unique perspective. We were debating as to when the week actually starts, and so since you're from France and you have a different perspective, you are 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. So, well, yeah. So whether it's Sunday or Monday, Clem's week has begun. Congratulations, Clem. You have started the week before us. Oh, let's see. Update on the Shamrocks. Liza, I think what's been going on, there's a lot of doing nothing. And I think what's going on is they're just hunkering down because it's cold here. I mean, it's not cold like it is in the rest of the United States, but it's like dry season cold here. So I think a lot of my shamrocks have just hunkered in, and they're waiting for the warm summer to come. So in a couple of months, they should start being a whole lot more active, and we'll have a whole lot more going on. Now, I'm sure I got a mating, but the female is not gaining weight, so I got to figure out what's going on there. Bill, did you see the last comment I made about shipping? I did not. Let's see. Oh, hey, there it is. When should I ship juveniles? Was thinking about end of April. Will be between 55 and 65 degrees. Nighttime temps by then for me, is that good safe time shipping, or should I wait? No, 55 to 65 is perfect. Now you got to check what the temperature is at the destination as well. And then if you really want to be good, you check what the temperature is on the hub, because there are certain hubs that FedEx uses. Like there's 2 hubs, and what temperature it's at the hub is important, because and actually the hub is a little bit more important than what temperature it is at your place and what temperature it is at their places, because you are presumably dropping your babies off at the hub and presumably requiring the other person that are getting the babies to pick it up from the hub, because the trip from the hub to hub yeah. So the trip from the FedEx office to the doorstep is the most dangerous time of all the trip. And so we just, like with me, anybody wants to get a chameleon from me when I'm selling them, you got to pick it up at the hub, or else I'm not selling it. I'm just not going to do that. And so figure out what the what is it, the middle place where they fly through, where FedEx flies through, and see what the temperature it is there. But 55 to 65, that's perfect. That's wonderful weather. Oh, let's see. Where can someone get a Cluminati shirt if one existed? Well, there is the Cluminati are not real, so don't ask. If you go to chameleonacademy.com and scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a merch shop. You can click on there, and you can see at least one design. The one with the triangle is not currently publicly available, although maybe we'll figure that out. I did not design that shirt, so it's not. See, the Cluminati is not necessarily my thing. It's kind of like it's decentralized. It belongs to the universe, and different aspects of the universe are doing different things. Bill, are those carrots or yams on the table? Both. Let's see. Okay, Nick is back. Nick, there was a lot of tears. A lot of people were missing you, and crying, and it was a mess. Glad you're back. So let's see. I'm catching up on the comments. Do you have any Panthers available, Bob? I do not have Panthers available. Although in a couple of weeks I will have some Parsoni, the yellow giant Parsoni. I will be starting to make some of those available. These are wild caught, so they're not captive hatch. But if any of you were interested in getting involved in breeding parsons or just keeping them, I will start to have them available by the end of August or April. Are you making a new fruit fly culture? You're making it, Howard. I've done such a good job that we're overflowing with fruit flies, and so I've been informed that we don't need me to make fruit flies today. So I am making just these little dishes for crickets and or dubia. There we go. So, yeah, let's see. That for the roaches or the new diet for the yep, Gaza choke. Jitsu James, this is for the roaches. So, yeah, and everybody's. Let's see. I'll have to research those. Yeah, Bob. The for Parsons chameleons. Just generally speaking, I mean, yes, if anybody wants to get involved with Parsons, definitely do some research. And I'm going to be putting together a care guide for them. But the thing about Parsons, number one, they're expensive. And number two, they require everything bigger than regular chameleons. So the biggest thing about getting a Parsons chameleon is having the space to do it. And not, if you're trying to be clever and save money on your Panther or veiled chameleon, Parsons isn't the one to go for. But if you really want the ultimate chameleon experience, I have to say a Parsons, it's hard to beat. I mean, they are incredible. They are completely, and I'm very happy that the Parsons chameleon community has done such a good job at establishing them. It's kind of hard to tell how well they are established. The community is a little bit, for good reason, they're a little bit secretive because people tend to not be good to people. Oh my goodness! Hey, look at that! Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. This is Richard Stewart, Tarantula Collective. The gift box that I opened on Saturday came from Tarantula Collective. And I don't know if he has any of those gift boxes left, but go to his website, tarantulacollective.com, and buy them all out. They are awesome. Yeah, Richard, we got to take a look at all the photography you did and the cool things you added in there. And the light roast was amazing. We ground it on the show, and I drank it on the show. It was awesome. So thank you very much for your support, Richard. Let's see. Let's see. Is it okay to put a chameleon into paludarium type setup, or would the water area pose a threat? Jarek, it's all about how you set it up. The biggest problems, chameleons can swim. So, I mean, they're not very good swimmers and they don't try to swim, but you might be surprised at how well a chameleon does in the water. I'm not encouraging anybody to put a water feature in their chameleon cage because they don't, that's not part of their natural what they do, but they're not going to drown just because they're in water. Now they will drown if there's no way to get out of the water. So if you have just the glass sides and it's all enclosed and there's no way to get out of the water, yeah, your chameleon will drown because they're not strong swimmers. They can survive, but that's not their element. So as long as you make sure they can get out of the water, and then you figure out how you're going to deal with big chameleon poop hitting the water, because chameleons love to poop in water and food dishes. This is one reason why we don't have fountains, we don't have any of those kind of things in chameleon enclosures, because they love to poop in it. So you have to have a way that you're going to deal with big chameleon poop, because you get a good healthy chameleon, they will they will certainly donate to the cause. Let's see, Bill, not sure if you've ever been asked this, but can you breed a veiled chameleon with another type other than a veiled? There is, the veiled chameleon is actually a subspecies. There's Camaleo callipratus and Camaleo callipratus calcalifer, and it's possible that those two could interbreed, but not a panther chameleon. They're two different genus, and not a Jackson's, two different genus, and so essentially the answer is no, but scientifically the answer may be possibly. Let's see. How about a 5x5x6 grow tent? I can send pictures of the one I have made into a jungle. Yeah, Bob, those dimensions are good for a Parsons chameleon. They will do well in that. And really, everybody, that's the kind of dimensions. Those are good dimensions. And if you get a Parsons chameleon, it's not worth it to put them in the minimum cage. I mean, minimum I'd say is 4 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot. But just that would be minimum. And if you're getting a Parsons chameleon, you don't go for minimums. And so, but 5x5x6 would, as long as it's set up correctly, would be fine. Let's see, tarantula. There are a few left. Sorry to miss your live stream. We had been cleaning up from the flood. You had a flood? Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, man. Hope you're okay there. Let's see. Okay, Stinky. Okay, we're going to have to read this. Figure out what Stinky's up to. All right, Stinky. I'm working on a personal project for setting up a live feed of my enclosure and trying to analyze behavior. Any ideas for desirable features? One idea is checking time frequency spent in different areas. Okay, so are you talking about what would be useful to observe over time? What I would say, Stinky, is measure how long they stay under UVB. One of the frontiers that we're trying to figure out is, and we figured out that the UVB level, UV index of 3, is sufficient and good for the major species. And so that's the idea. But the assumption is that all the tests were the UVB light on for 12 hours. So the question is now, how much time do we really need to have that on? And how much do they do basking under UVI 3? And if you make a map in your cage as to what the UV index levels are, and then you map out your chameleon's behavior and traveling and position throughout every day, and then we start looking at that over the course of months, we may be able to figure out how much time they need UV index of 3. And we may be finding that they only need it for 1 hour and they get everything they need, and the other 11 hours are just wasted. So that's one of the next steps with our UV index, our UVB studies on chameleons. And if you have a live feed, or not a live feed, but at least a record of what they do during the day, is the only way we're going to figure that one out. So there's a possibility for you. Let's see. Okay. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Bill, what do you think of that panther spiny hybrid that Tiki's Geckos just bred earlier? Was it Tiki's Geckos? I know it was West Chameleon Brothers did that. Did Tiki's Geckos do that too? I'm not. I'm not crazy about hybrids. I do not see the attraction of it. It's not a special thing for me. I'm not going to jump on. I know there's some people that say this is unnatural, ungodly, and horrible, and I'm not going that far. I just see it as okay. But that, I mean, if they want to do that, then well, we're learning things about the chameleon world through what they're doing. But me personally, I'm not gonna do that. But also, I'm not going to say mean things about them. That's what they want to do. Yeah. 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 Stinky. Yep. That would be great. That would be great. Let's see. Or mapping their time spent at different UVI levels over some long period of time. This is a good idea. Well, Stinky, what you've got to do is have, you're going to have to control it a little bit. And so you'd have to have one branch at the top. So that's the only branch that they can be on and they can get UVB at. Everything else, it's just like the plant levels are just blocking all the UVB. So they've got one branch and you have your solar boom, you have an entire map of the UV index levels everywhere on that branch. And then you chart what they, where they are, and then you multiply that times time. If they are under UV index of 3 for 1 hour, and then they move over and they're under UV index of 2 for 2 hours, then we've got 3 times 1 plus 2 times 2. And so now we've got 4, 5, UV index of 5 over 3 hours. And so, okay. The math, okay, I've got the math in my head. It is how much UV index times time, and that's the dose of UV index. And so, anyway, if you get information, we'll know how to crunch the numbers. And then we start controlling it. And then we say, okay, we're going to give this amount of UV index for this amount of time and see if they use it. And so there's a lot of fun. I tell you, the thing is, like UV index of 3, that's commonplace right now. But when we were figuring that out, it took me 6 months to do my experiment, and I had to keep track of things. I had to keep 2 pairs of veiled chameleons in a dark garage where there was no sunlight. It was just that UVB light, and monitor what was going on. I had to breed them, and it had to be sisters and brothers. So the brothers were related, the sisters were related, but they weren't related to each other, as far as we know. And so as genetically as similar as possible, and they were under the exact same conditions, except the UV index for one was 3, UV index of the other pair was 6, and then mated the 2, and then looked at the hatch rate, or the calcification of the eggs and the hatch rate. And it takes a lot to do a regimented study. And mine was hardly regimented. Mine was hardly scientific. It was just me wanting to figure out the answer for myself. And so I could be confident when I said, you do not have to go up to UV index of 6, which I kind of knew, but I needed to prove it to myself and to everybody. So yeah, there's just a lot of work that goes into being disciplined. That's why so few studies actually get done here. Eric, thank you very much. Appreciate the super sticker. Do they artificially inseminate, or do the animals breed naturally? Yeah, the animals breed naturally. There's been documentations of, first for Pardalis, the panther chameleon, and Ustaleti and Varicosis doing interbreeding. I actually had a panther Ustaleti cross that was gifted to me over 20 years ago, and he was okay. He was like a strange cross between the panther and Ustaleti. I mean, you don't get the colors of the panther, so Anyway, I had one. They exist. It can be done naturally, but I've never had the really desire to continue that. My parsons are very specific with their UVB. They literally will go up in the morning for 1 to 2 hours underneath the UVB and then down into the foliage. That's common for chameleons there. James, what UV index? Do you know what UV index they are under? I'd like to know that because that's interesting information. Is it UV index of 3 that you do? Okay. Have you seen the DIY video on YouTube that uses dry milk in place of yeast on fly cultures? What's your opinion on the media? Oh, Bob, I used to make my own fly media. That was fun. It was exciting and a lot of work, and I don't do it anymore. So I don't got any opinion on it. If it works, fine. I haven't tried it, so can't help. But I don't see any reason why that would be something that we wouldn't do. Okay, James says he gives roughly 3.5. Okay, that's still standard UV index for a lot of our guys. Hey, Ashley's here. Hello. How about a recommendation on media? Fruit fly media, I use a Superfly from Rapashi. It makes it really easy. Just 3 scoops, 3 tablespoons, a 2/3 cup of boiling water, mix it together, and you're done. You use 12% bulbs in all my large enclosures. Well, yeah, because you got a lot of distance to travel. Let's see. For veiled chameleons, what UVB bulb do you recommend? I've seen a lot of Facebook posts about it. Haley, you can use, it's not the bulb, it's the distance. Veiled chameleons, we have proven that they do very well under UV index of 3. You can get UV index of 3 from the Arcadia 6% or the Zoomed 5.0 if you have the back of the chameleon about 6 to 7 inches away from the bulb, assuming that the bulb is going through the top screen of one of your standard chameleon cages, which is a 70% transmission screen. And that's the way, that's the kind of screen that Dragon Strand uses and Reptibreeze uses, and a lot of people use. It's a standard screen size. But if you have something like some other cage that have a different type of material for the top, then the numbers will be different. If you have a 12% or a 10.0, we're talking about T5s here, not the CFLs, the T5 linears, then you want the chameleon's back to be about 12 inches from the light going through the top screen. Now, Haley, I want to warn you that going online is like Facebook is about the worst place to go for UVB information, because there's so many people that talk about UVB that have no idea what they're talking about. Oh my goodness, they are so confident, and there's no educating them. I mean, it's ridiculous. So let's see. I use a 5.0 Reptibreeze right on top of my screen enclosure with about 6 inches from the back. Okay, that works. The only thing, Haley, you want to watch out for is that the chameleon doesn't walk upside down on the top and expose their belly to that light, because right at the light, you're high. I think it's like UV index of 25 or something like that. So that's not good. But if they are not climbing on the top, it sounds like you got it. You got what you need. As long as that's a linear, you got a 5.0 Reptibreeze. Okay, so a 5.0 zoom in, as long as it's a linear bulb. The CFLs are totally different, and they are not very useful for adults. They can be used for babies, because you got to get within like 2 inches of the bulb, which you can do with a baby, but you can't do with an adult. Not well. let's see, Chameleon. Okay, but everyone on Facebook says 10.0, 12% is the correct bulb. Okay, Haley, this is the problem. There was a Facebook group that insisted, the biggest Facebook group insisted that veiled chameleons were a high UVB species. This is absolutely incorrect. They were corrected by a biologist, but of course, when you are a big Facebook admin, you don't like to be told anything by anybody. And so, so this is, the problem is that you can't assign a bulb to a species. Saying veils needed 10%, 10.0, 12% is an indication that this person does not understand how UVB works. It's the UV index, the level of UVB that's at the back of your chameleon. And if I can get, and you can get UV index of 3 at the back of your chameleon using a 6% or 5.0, you can get it using a 10.0 or 12%. It all depends on how far away the bulb is. So it's a linear bulb. Okay, so Haley, you've got it right. Now, and I got it. It's one of these things, you know how we all tiptoe around so we don't offend people. So I'm going to come right out and say it. Facebook it's wrong when they say, I say Facebook because this is where it started. I was there. I watched it start. And I know the people who started this, and they were absolutely wrong. They were told that they were wrong, and they wouldn't stop because they didn't want to be told what to do. And they were under the impression of the life philosophy that if we say it louder, that makes us right. They're absolutely wrong. And it's complete ego that they maintain this and say this today. It is absolutely incorrect that a veiled chameleon needs a 10.0 or 12%. If somebody says that, then they do not understand UVB. I'll come out right and say, do not listen to that person about UVB. They don't understand it. It doesn't matter which bulb you use as long as you get the right UV index. So if they say, well, a veiled chameleon needs a 10.0, you say, what UV index should I have on my chameleon? What's the number? That's there's two numbers that you need when you're dealing with UV index, when you're setting up UV index for your chameleon. First of all, what's the effective UV index that you need at the back of your chameleon? For the most common chameleons, it's UV index of 3. What is the highest level of UV index do you want in your cage? And so you ask these geniuses who are telling you what bulb you need, ask them, okay, don't tell me about the bulb. What is the UV index that I need at the back of my chameleon? What is the UV index that I need at the top of the cage, which is the highest UV index that my chameleon should be exposed to? And UV index of 3 has been proven to work. And UV index of 6 has been proven that you don't need to go to UV index of 6. So I use UV index of 3, UV index of 6. You can have the top of your cage at 7.4. That goes with the Ferguson levels. And so those are two questions. Whenever somebody comes up and says, oh, you need this type of bulb, you can ignore anything that person says about UVB because they do not understand UVB. And this is Facebook education right here. And I don't know what else to say. They have been told over and over that they are wrong. The numbers, you show them the numbers that they're wrong, and they still won't change. So I don't know what more can I do here? I can just show the numbers. It's not an opinion. It's just ask them. It's just take a solar meter out. What levels do you want? And then you can show them. To put a 12% on top of a cage. For a while, those Facebook groups are saying, well, you've got to have a 12% on the top of the cage because they were so annoyed. They don't like me much. So we'll get that right out of the way. And I was saying, you got to raise the UVB up because the levels coming off of the lamp are just so high. Just take a solar meter. That's not an opinion. Solar meter. And so in order so they wouldn't have to say, oh, we're listening to Bill, they doubled down on you got to have it on the top of the cage. Okay, take your solar meter and see what kind of levels you're getting at the top of the cage. It's like you're getting levels that are not found on the face of the earth naturally. So, it's I am. It is unfortunate that the people that rose to prominence on Facebook chose to create tribes and empires instead of focus on chameleon husbandry. It resulted in about 10 years of stagnation in the chameleon community because everybody is fighting because nobody, it's all about who can win. So, you know, you can go to Chameleon Academy. I lay it all out there. I don't even say you need these levels. I say this is the testing that we went to get to these levels. If you have some testing and you decide you need UV index of 4, okay, fine. Well, then you change the distance of the light to give you 4 or 2. Okay, maybe next year we find out that UV index of 2 is sufficient. I mean, the testing that we did, all it does is says that UV index of 3 is effective, and that UV index of 6 does not give you anything more. In fact, Michael Nash, who did a scientific paper and published it, indicated that maybe it's worse to go up to 6. So 3 is looking pretty good. But that doesn't mean that it's the ideal. Somebody next year may go through a study, and if they're disciplined enough, say, okay, I found out that UV index of 2 is better. Okay, that's okay, because you now have the skills necessary. You say, okay, in that case, I'm going to raise my light up a little bit more because I'm taking a reading at the back of the chameleon, and now I want it at a UV index of 2. 3, 4, 2, doesn't matter. What do you want? It doesn't have to do with the actual bulb. So, let's see. I will definitely do that the next time I see a comment on my post on Facebook. I do not own a Solimir yet, but definitely to purchase. I got booted from a group defending you about a year and a half ago. Yeah, guys, I mean, honestly, Facebook is a complete mess. There are so few groups that I would have anything to do with. There is just so much garbage information and so many egos on there that it's not even worth it. The Chameleon Enthusiast is the one group that I spend any time on. That is a group. It's got Dr. Chris Anderson, Dr. Mark Schertz. It's got me. It's got, we got some good, solid people there. I don't mess with the rest of Facebook. And I'm going to say it's not an opinion thing. It's just garbage and a waste of time. So, I mean, yeah, there's some groups that are good. So I'm not saying we're the only group that's good, but yeah, be picky where you spend your time, because if you're spending on a time where places where people are insisting that veiled chameleons need a 12%, you're wasting your time on that group. You're wasting your time online. Once you figure out that the admin team doesn't really have a handle on things and they're just protecting their little empire, it's a waste of time. Get off of it. Go someplace where it's actually useful, and the time that you're spending online is actually useful. And you'll see I've done that. I have really pulled back. I will be active on the Chameleon Enthusiast because that is a solid group with solid people. I'm just not going to be anywhere else because it is a waste of time. So let's see. Do you have any memorist of Brian Barczyk? I do know. I have memories of Brian Barczyk. I've known him. I haven't known him very well, but I do. We do. I've got a picture with him, and we had some time together. We talked, and was supposed to interview him on my podcast, but things took an unfortunate turn, so I was not able to make that appointment. Let's see. I'm going to catch up. I made my rants, my rant here, so I'll try to catch up on my comments. Oh, Kristen, yeah. This is Kristen is the one we did a review on her cage. Excellent. Yeah. Let's see. Makes sense. Mine are on top of the screen. Yeah. Okay. So James Cross has 12% bulbs sitting on top of the screen. Why is that okay? Well, for one thing, James has huge enclosures. And so James needs that UVB to punch down to get through to the branch. And James's Parsons chameleons are not hanging upside down from the top of his cage and walking under that UVB. So this is all about what bulb is appropriate for the size enclosure and for how far it needs to get that UVB down. And so if James is going to be using a 6%, those chameleons, the basket branch would have to be up higher to where the chameleons kind of right up and seeing the screen. Parsons chameleons are big. So yeah, in this case, 12% is absolutely correct for James's use. This is the important thing about understanding how the bulbs should be used. I mean, you hear in the community, everybody's community, that the CFLs are useless, and CFLs will kill your chameleon. This is a gross oversimplification, and it's not a good thing to get out into the community. What we need to know is CFLs have a very short effective range that is very close to the bulb, but there is use for it. Not a whole lot of use in a 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage, but if you've got a 16 inch by 16 inch by 30 inch cage for a hatchling, you don't want the full force of a T5 UVB on that hatchling. In that case, with a hatchling between 0 and 3 months, the very weak 13 watt Zoom Ed 5.0 CFL that's in the Chameleon kit is actually a perfect UVB for that situation. And so we can say, don't use the Chameleon kit for the Panther Chameleon that you just bought or the Veiled Chameleon. But when we start talking to people who are actually raising up hatchlings, well, this is where it pays for us to understand the tools and not just demonize the tools or say veils need a 12%. I mean, I've even seen these Facebook groups talk about how the 12% needs to be on a veil, even the baby veils that are crawling on the top of the screen. So you've got this 30-inch cage with this 12% on there. It's like, oh my goodness, people, this is not an understanding of how UVB works. This is adhering to a dogma of a certain Facebook group, so some people can feel like they're important. Yeah, okay. Bill, is there any harm on giving them more than the UV index of 3? Michael Nash in his paper found that giving UV index of 6 to babies seem to have detrimental effects. But if we're talking about an adult, I found that there was no difference between UV index of 3 and UV index of 6 when given to female veiled chameleons as measured by, here's the problem, how do you measure that? As measured by the calcification of eggs and the hatch rate. So that's all I can say as far as what's been tested. And so there really is, the thing is with UVB, the damage, it's over time. And so it's so hard for us to measure at what point it's dangerous. We just know it is at some point, and over a certain amount of time it is. But unfortunately, we can't put numbers to it just yet, because, I mean, how do you test something like that? So we got a long ways to go to understanding UVB. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm getting really behind. You were my chameleon husband CEO. I don't even know those. They don't exist, Tom. They're just figments of imagination. They're NPCs. So, okay, for carpets, Petri, okay, you do be using basking index of 2 to 4 hours per day. So, okay, excellent. Let's see. I'm sorry. What is this? The green veggies in a bag look like a chameleon? Oh, okay. Yes, they're supposed to. They're supposed to. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm kind of behind in my Instagram comments. All the comments. You need information on Nosy Bay panther chameleons? Same as any other panther chameleon. Yeah, so you can just go to like chameleonacademy.com and look for the panther chameleon profile. It works great. Hi, Bill. Can you explain about the retained sperm on females? Yeah, well, females will retain sperm. They will actually store it, and they will impregnate themselves when their body decides it's time. Like it measures the conditions. Conditions are good. We're going to do another clutch. Often the subsequent clutches decrease as far as fertility. But yeah, it's a way that chameleons can continue to reproduce even though there's no males and surprise their keepers. Yeah. Burning Heartache Dog says, I'm very grateful. Your information on vitamin A supplements. You saved my chameleon's life. How do you personally supplement for vitamin A? Oh, I'm glad to hear. I give a dusting of Repashy Calcium Plus Low D every other week. That's just general. Repashy Calcium Plus has a low level of vitamin A, but it has enough to, when given twice a month, to give the vitamin A needs. As far as I can tell, no vitamin A deficiencies. Now, it's very possible that I'm giving too much. I haven't. There was a time that I was only giving Arcadia Earth Pro A, and so that's just calcium. There's no fat soluble vitamins in there. And my chameleons, over the many years that I was doing it, I had one chameleon that came down with vitamin A deficiency. And so the question is, statistically, that's nothing. Anything could have happened. So why was I able to go through all these years over so many different species and not have vitamin A deficiency, but other people do? I don't know. So we still haven't, at least I haven't figured that out. But I recommend Repashy Calcium Plus Low D twice a week. Very generally speaking. Don't give that to your Johnson's chameleon or they'll blow up with edema. Let's see. Hey, next gen chameleon. Do you Nosy Bays come from Madagascar or the cat breed? Well, Clark Kathleen, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but Nosy Bay panther chameleons come from an island off of the coast of Madagascar. The island known as Bay. Nosy is the Malagasy word for island. So when you have a Nosy Bay panther chameleon, that is the panther chameleon that comes from the island of, they call it Nosy Bay. That's the panther chameleon comes from that island. See, Abraham Abstracto, Bill, what do you think about set up a bioactive terrarium for a chameleon? Saw a few videos from the Bio Dude, but don't know if it's the best for a chameleon. It really doesn't matter. The chameleons don't need it. It's not really useful for them. For most species of chameleons, for babies, it's we're doing more and more with bioactive for babies, and for the mini columas and the Brookesia, it really works well. But for like veiled chameleons, panther chameleons, it's just an added part to the cage that doesn't do anything for the chameleon. So it's just another thing for you to watch out for. It's a fun thing to do. You get isopods, and my panther chameleon chases and hunts the isopods, so it's pretty cool. It has enrichment, but it's not something that I would have a beginning chameleon keeper get involved with, because it's just another thing that they have to monitor. Now, the Bio Dude, they have this bag that you can put in your cage, and so that actually is a very easy way of getting and starting to work with bioactive, because the biggest challenge with bioactive is getting enough water into the system so the chameleon is totally hydrated, but not to saturate the soil. When you've got that bag, as far as I recall, I believe that bag is not waterproof, so the water can flow through it. That is key, and it's And don't get into the point where you have to balance how much water you put in, so you don't saturate the soil, and so you're compromising the chameleon care. So there is a balance that has to be done there. Is it me or Jackson's more of a picky chameleon? Yeah, they are. They are a little bit more picky. Certainly more picky than a veiled chameleon. So, where in the world are the person's chameleons in Madagascar? They are around the central area, Ranamafana, Andasi Bay. These are places. When do panther chameleons start showing their bright colors? Changes more tans and a little blue than we think red and white spot. It's different for every panther chameleon. It's somewhere between 3 months and 6 months, and it just depends on the panther. Yeah. Is that where? Yes, Clark Kathleen, you do find lemurs on Madagascar. They will bounce all over you if you stay still. If they think that you have food on them, they will bounce all over you. When do you start seeing colors change in the Jacksons? Males at 6 months, females at 9 months. That's what I experienced, although that is when they're both raised in the summer and at the best growth rate. If you raise them slower in cooler weather, then it'll be longer. Oh my goodness. Nick's got a carpet laid a retention clutch of 12. That's impressive. Versus 19. Wow. A veiled chameleon had 2 small indentations at the end of her tail. It looks like someone has injured or smashed it. Is this normal? Well, that's what happens when you injure or smash a tail. So it's not normal to have smashed tails, but that sounds like what happens when you smash the tail. Let's see. My female panther chameleon laid her first clutch infertile. Is there any chance that the second clutch could be fertile? Well, dark morphs, that depends upon whether she mated with a male. If not, then no. When's your next trip to Madagascar? Next gen is January, but that trip is filled up. There is a definite possibility that I'll do it again in 2026. And so for those of you who were on the edge or needed 2 years to plan for it, start considering 2026. And I'll talk more about that, assuming that it's going to be a thing, in February of 2025. Repashy twice a week. I thought twice a month. Should I do twice a week with the low D? If I said Repashy Calcium Plus low D twice a week, I misspoke. I meant twice a month. I apologize if I said that. That was not my intention. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Maybe this meant I once every 2 weeks. I did say that, and I did say twice a month. But whenever I'm on camera, sometimes my words don't come out clear, and sometimes I say things that I don't mean. Is it okay to keep 2 veiled chameleons in the same enclosure? No, it's not. Period. Don't do it. And I mean, there's no if this, if that. It just don't do it. Don't get chameleons together, especially not veiled chameleons. It's not good, and you will have a mess. And one chameleon eventually will die. And you'll have a number of people say, oh, we can do it. We can do it. It doesn't work. We've been trying. People want to keep chameleons together, and they will forever, because we're just a species that loves to, we're social. We're a pack species. Chameleons are not. And so just the answer is no, don't keep chameleons together, especially veiled chameleons. If they can't be in the same enclosure, then how will they produce fertile eggs? Are you really? Oh, okay. allow me to be clear. When I say they can't be in the same enclosure, that means they don't live together. If you want to produce fertile eggs, then you have to have them together for mating, but you don't leave them living together. So anyway, I'm gonna come on. Oh, let's just assume that was a joke. Okay. All right. Bill, big crowd tonight. You need your rest. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, I have an interview. I'm going to be interviewed tomorrow, and I got to set up an enclosure for the interview. And all of the beautiful plants that I had for the interview, I put them out for the rain so they could get nice rained on. And then I forgot that they are out there. And then we had a sunny day, and they are all sunburned. Oh my goodness. I am so heartbroken. Let's see. I have the same hexagon enclosure that you reviewed recently. Can you build on top of that to make it taller? I like the shape, but it's too small now. You can, but usually those kind of things are more work than they're worth. But you could if you really like it. So. Or maybe I just make stuff up at this point. Oh, yes. I heard Yvette. Yes. Oh, yeah. We'll have a birds and the bees discussion. All right, everybody. It is coming to the end. Hey. Of this session. I have a lot of chores to do and many miles to go tonight, and I really appreciate you all coming on and having such a great conversation here. Thank you very much, and for all of you who gave those super stickers and supported this, I appreciate that very much. And let's see, what's the next time I'm going to be tomorrow. The video is going to be released at 5 a.m. I know a lot of you, that's too early for you, so you're going to be seeing the repeat, the on-demand Chameleon show. But for those of you who are crazy dedicated to the Chameleon arts, you want to join me in the chat live tomorrow at 5 a.m. I will be there on YouTube. And just to be clear, all of these things when I talk about the video at 5 a.m., I don't mean that it's a live video and it only shows at 5 a.m. What I mean is it's launched at 5 a.m. and YouTube has this special feature that if you do it as a premiere, then they give you a chat box. So you can do a live chat. And so we say good morning to each other. It's a great way to start the day with a Chameleon video. And so you're all welcome to join. And maybe we'll even see Two Turtle Tom, who says he's got to get up early enough. But let's see, on the East Coast, that's 8 a.m. So it's not totally early, not like here. It's 5 a.m. here. And why did I do it at 5 a.m. is so I could reach the East Coast crowd while it was still morning. So I did it for you guys on the East Coast. Let's see. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. The next time I go live will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern, and Tuesday is on YouTube and Instagram as well. So, what a day, what a night. All right, I'm going to get to work, and you'll be seeing more of me because I guess I don't go away. So, anybody, thanks for joining me in my kitchen while I was making cricket stuff. So, see ya.